We're here! Yay! Alright, this is Carlos Taboada. I am Janet Trevino. I am San Antonio's Cuddlist, and there's many more coming, so if you haven't had a chance to book a session with me, that's fine. If you're not really into me, that's cool too. There's more Cuddlists coming so that you can have a variety of people to cuddle with. And today, I thought we've been planning this video for a long time because we've been working through a lot of issues in our relationship since the beginning, but especially now because of the work that I do. You know, what is a cuddlist? Let me explain that first. So I am a certified cuddling professional, which means I touch people for a living. I touch them, I hold them, I cuddle with them, I do all of that. And it's exciting and it's fun and it's amazing and it's life-giving, and I see so many great things that come out of it. So for me, it's been my joy. It's been how I've connected with the world and with others. And this guy over here, yes.
I'm the guy.
Had to deal with this lovely arrangement, you know, hey, come along. So we'll start off asking a bunch of questions and I'll have him answer, and you'll learn so much about him. If you don't know this guy, you're going to be in for a treat because there's a lot of interesting things that you'll learn. So first thing, do you think you were prepared to be a partner of a cuddlist? And what was it like in the beginning?
No, I was not prepared to be the partner of a cuddlist. But it's not so much because, cuddlists, you're not ready for it. I came into this relationship with some heavy-duty baggage I didn't know I had. And I was already limping in, thinking with this relationship style that was so negative already.
What is that?
Well, it's simply known, and you can look it up, it's anxious relationship style. Where you're anxious all the time, you're always suspicious of your partner. And that turns into control, the worst kind of control, because you slowly suck the joy in life out of your partner.
For what? For what reason? Why would you do that?
I think because you're always thinking that they're going to leave you. You're always thinking they're looking for something else, and so you become very controlling. Yeah.
So there's a question. We have our first question, which
Already?
is, did we meet in a cuddling situation? So no, I met Carlos 2 years ago now.
2 years
actually
ago.
On OkCupid, and so it's definitely I became a cuddlist last summer, at the end of last summer. So yes.
Good question.
That's a great question. All right.
But we do cuddle sometimes, so.
Yeah, we do.
It's not like
I
I'm
had
not getting a
practice.
cuddle.
I had practice before. All right, so okay, let's talk a little bit more about what you just were talking. So it hasn't been easy. You weren't prepared. No. You were suspicious. And why did it feel threatening for me to cuddle with other people?
Well, it wasn't easy in the beginning. So I was suspicious of a lot of things that you were doing. Most of the suspicion was happening, now that I know, in my head. One of your friends, I can mention her name, right?
Yeah.
Julia. I think that we all have best friends, and you were telling her about me and my bad behavior in a relationship, and she suggested that I may have this anxiety type of relationship style. And when you mentioned it to me, a bell just went off because I had been dealing with this in most of all of my relationships before, and it was damaging. It was very, very damaging.
So let's make real specific. This is confession time. Let's name out loud the things that you did when I became a cuddlist that now we realize was completely inappropriate. I was learning boundaries as well. So what are some things that, some requests that you had that were wrong? And that.
This is going to sound familiar to a lot of people out there. You may be in a relationship with somebody who has got this. So here it goes. Coming up with seemingly what seem to be rules for the relationship. Let's come up with some rules. Mostly so you won't hurt me, but really it's so I can control what you do. Tell me who texts you. Is it a guy?
But like specifically with the cuddlist.
With the cuddlist?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I needed you to check in with me as soon as your sessions were done, so I could make sure you're safe.
See, always came appearance of like protecting and being safety, but that's it got into control.
There was always a worm on that hook, but it was a hook nonetheless. What else?
So I can name a few.
Yeah,
but there were forgetting because I lived it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
And then I'll just kind
I had to let people, my Cuddlist clients, know that I was in a relationship, which is bullshit. No one needs to know. I mean, I think I'm okay with letting people know this is the guy.
I'm going to be making an embarrassed face through all of these.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
so
Because that's not who I am anymore. But go ahead.
Okay, so like, you need to tell them that you got somebody. I was like, no, I don't.
Controlling.
That's control. Calling after the session, right? And it was always with the appearance of protecting, but it was just more about something else that he could add to that. Third, wanting to read my texts. Right, so there's confidentiality in a relationship with a Cuddlist with their client, and it's really tricky. Where I do receive lots of text messages, and the phone keeps dinging over and over again. And no, you don't need to read my texts, and you don't get to see what people say. And if they ask inappropriate questions, or if they ask any question, doesn't matter. I got it, handle it, right? So like, no, you don't get to do that. He wanted me to have only business communications, and sometimes people want to talk about other things. And so I do offer back and forth text messages with my client, right? You don't get to know about that. You don't get to be my boss. You don't get to check in and make sure that I'm following the code of conduct.
That's a tough one. Or that was a tough one.
Yeah. So like, did you follow the code today? I'm like, really? Like, no, you don't get to decide.
I forgot about a couple of those because
the whole be my boss. Like this isn't about you. This is, I can go with my colleagues and other Cuddlists and work through, my issues that I'm struggling with my colleagues and with the organizers and the director and the CEO and the people that do Cuddlist. Like those are the people I'm accountable to my community, but not to him. This is my work. I don't have to tell you what I do in a session. I need to tell you what kind of...
That used to cause a lot of conflict too.
Yeah,
I mean,
like...
Go home, go to your own house now kind of conflict. Get out of here,
So, it's... right, if a client wants to dance or wants to go to the movies or wants to have a session outside or whatever it is, I don't need to tell him anything. Those are private. And if I want to share something that was meaningful to me, I can. It's my choice, but I'm not obligated to say anything I don't want to say. And it's idea of like, because I'm receiving lots of touch and it's nurturing, it's amazing, and I speak so positively of it, it doesn't mean this is my playtime. It doesn't mean like this is a time where I having my fun, and then he's like, well, when am I going to have my fun? It's not like that. It's still work to me. It's meaningful work. It's the kind of work you want to have. You want to have work that you are proud of and that you want to be excited about, right? But that doesn't mean that because of that, then, yeah, it's that now he's like, well, I'm being left out. I don't have any fun time after my job.
Oh, there was a certain sense of exhaustion at the end of the day when I, kind of wanted to get intimate with you and stuff and say, I'm really exhausted. I used to take it as, well, I guess somebody else got the best of you. But really, the work that you do is exhausting. You're putting everything into it. You're listening, you're processing, you're responding back to the client. On top of that, at the same time, there's holding, there's touch. You may be going to a movie or whatever like that, whatever they need. And it took me a while to process that.
And when a session doesn't always go the best way, it doesn't go right, I don't have to tell you, right? That was hard. And I'd like to be able to, but let's say I wasn't ready to. Let's say, I'm still kind of working through processing what happened, and I wasn't ready to say everything. And I would tell him days later, and he'd be so hurt. It's like, why didn't you tell me right away? Like after it happened. And
another way I was trying to control. Yeah.
It's like I wasn't ready to talk about it. Maybe I had shame. Maybe I had some guilt, maybe I had different feelings, and it took me some time, especially in the beginning when you're still kind of like working out the kinks. It's hard to be able to share with someone, especially someone I'm afraid that they're going to judge me, or he's going to look down on me, or he's going to say like, I don't think you should be doing this, or you don't have what it takes. Like anything, any little word of discouragement could have scared me in the beginning, and I needed someone. And this is, I think, the therapist said that you have two jobs. These are two things that you're called to do right now.
For me?
Yeah. And then yeah. What is it that he told you? What do you remember?
Show my full support.
Full support.
And get the hell out of your way. I'm sorry. What was the other one?
And love me.
Oh, and love you. Of course, I do that naturally.
You're like
So love
and
you and
me.
just show you full support.
All right. So.
And it actually, let me add this. It got to the point where you so didn't want to catch my judgment that you wouldn't tell me things. And man, that was Then we started going down the path of my other relationships. When they stop talking to you, and this is what you said, when I go silent, and then you better watch it. You stop talking to me about stuff, and it was me. It was me that was making you feel that harsh judgment and criticism, and then you said, I'm not going to tell them anymore. So, I'm turning that stuff around.
So, therapy. I don't know if we talk a little bit about that. Before we go to therapy, let me ask you this question. What did you imagine I was doing in my cuddling session? Like, where did that scary part of
Before
your mind...
therapy?
Yeah.
Having sex with every one of your clients. And shh, don't tell my partner. That's the dark places. Those are the dark places your mind goes when you have anxious relationship style. And you're always anxious and you're always suspicious. Everything bad that happens that your partner's doing is actually only happening in your mind because you're allowing it.
And what were you afraid of happening?
Somebody was going to take you away. Somebody with a bigger brain or bigger this or bigger that, or somebody who had more to offer, you know. I'm a little older than you, so I still come from the old school of, well, if he's got more money, he's going to just take her away. You know, movies kind of push that too, but that's what I was afraid of. It's just even weird for me to say it now because it's so silly now. But yes, that was what I was afraid of.
So we started therapy near the beginning of the time that I started my sessions. And tell people, like, what was it like to do the therapy?
Therapy.
What did it do for you?
Don't ever be ashamed or embarrassed of therapy. And I kind of used to be. Therapy is a way of unclogging your mind. Stuff gets clogged up there, and you need somebody to help you throw it on the table and let's sort it out together, and then you can understand it. That's what therapy is. That's the way you have to look at it. What it did for me is it opened me up to a couple of basic questions. Carlos, what are you afraid of? Blah, 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 blah. I tell him, okay, will that actually happen? You think that's going to happen? Like, no, I don't think so. Not what everything she's told me. Then why you let that thought take your life over? Man, what a release. And I go every week. I'm not ashamed to say that. I go every week, and it's just so cleansing. But what it did was and you started kind of going too, and it's allowing us to understand each other at a deeper level. So this is not the relationship that I'm used to. This is way deep, and communication and understanding are the key.
So sometimes I'll work 5 hours in a day. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot when you do cuddling. Yeah. 3, 5, 7 hours and more. And so how have you handled when I am done with my day and I'm exhausted and I have very little to give?
BT, before therapy, I would just drive around in this staring frenzy like, what's she doing now? I'll bet she's doing this. What's he doing? Is she saying that I really don't have a boyfriend? Oh my gosh. After therapy, I'm actually in my own joy now, my own pleasure. I'll go and look at records. I'll go to the movies. I'll go work on my music. The practice is getting you and your sessions completely out of my head. And it's worked. And there's some exercises that the therapist has given me that I can't really give to you. You'd really have to see a therapist for this because I'm not a therapist. But they've worked. The
question really was...
Oh, did I miss the question?
Yeah, a little bit. Got a little distracted. The question was, after a long day of work, how do you cope with, I come to you and I'm exhausted, I have nothing to give you? Or
what I've learned how to do now is ask you what you need. What do you need? And if you say, I don't know what I need right now, then I just want to be there and hold you. And I'll hold you for a while. And I'll talk softly. This is stuff that I would want.
You can feed me.
I feed you. You always ask me to rub the side of my head or run your fingers through my hair. Or
just leave me alone. Let me watch my shows.
Yeah. That was like a tough one. Like, I'm home from work now. What? Are we going to do something? I just want to watch my shows. I'm like, you don't want to spend time with me? And now I know she just wants to completely... I think your shows are a way of just cleaning out everything that's happened and starting fresh. And getting in your joy, being in your joy. A lot of your shows are comedy.
I think the therapist also helped me with my own self-care and reminded me that after sessions I need to decompress on my own and kind of come back into my body again because it's a lot to give. And it has affected, of course, my sexuality. Like, our intimacy we've had to adjust to it and learn how to be intimate again because again, I've just given a lot of myself, and I've turned off my sex, like Cuddlist is a non-sexual activity. It's something that we're not doing the sex thing at all in any way, and it's non-sexual. So I had to cut part of that out of my daily experience now with work. So then coming with my partner, another person who's like wanting me, how to reconnect, put myself back together again, and then now be sexual when all day long I've been training myself not to be. And I think it's been some work. I mean, it's been intentional.
Yeah, I think I just have to take over a little bit more afterwards. If I want something, that it really should be me that initiates it, me that goes through slowly and gets you, I guess as they say, in the mood again. Potentially.
And in a cuddling session, it's also about me taking care of the clients and listening to them and meeting their needs. And I will make sure that I'm comfortable and I'm not doing anything outside of my own boundaries and outside of the code. But I'm not asking for what I want directly. It's not my session. It's not my time. And so with Carlos, sometimes I find myself being very like, I need this, I need that. Like, I am a brat.
A little quick, a little curt.
I'm a little brat. Sometimes I'm like, I want you to do this for me right now because I've been taking care of everybody else, and I need someone to take care of me sometimes. So.
And I'm a good partner for that. Well, not a lot of guys will admit that, but I'm pretty decent in that.
So, next question. Confidentiality is really important in Cuddlist. So my clients, I want them to trust me and know that I'm not sharing anything with anyone about them, or they don't know. Yeah, there's just this very protected. And so, how have you handled that? The anonymity that people need in being in a relationship, being with me, and then you, yeah.
Well. And again,
and I'd like for you to tell people that you're committed to that confidentiality that you do protect.
Oh yeah, definitely. At first, before the therapy, and you weren't telling me what was going on, I thought, well, she's keeping it from me because those are the dark thoughts. That's where they take you. Afterwards, I understood. I wouldn't want my therapist to say anything to his next client. Oh, that guy that was just in here. Jeez, and then this and that. And can you believe? I wouldn't want that. So it was a slow understanding. But yes, you have clients and their needs are for them, and it's between you and them.
So sometimes Carlos is hanging out here at the space that I work. This is funny. Stay tuned. And so he's here, and I'm like, you gotta go before they arrive. And sometimes he's still here, and they've pulled out. And so we find a way to be able to manage this. I send him to the garage, and he.
Sneak out of my own
So they
house.
come in, he sneaks out, and people don't know, and this doesn't happen every time, maybe once every 10, 15 times. It's, it's, anyway, but it's still funny because, I'm trying to keep that confidentiality that he doesn't even really see their faces very much.
No, I've never.
And I don't want them to run into each other.
Right.
I don't want anyone to feel like, oh shit.
That would be awkward.
And it's not because anything's wrong with it, but again, we're protecting that confidentiality. It's really important.
Yeah. And I've gotten really good at picking up the garage door and putting it down very quietly and getting out of here. Because there's a timing. Yeah, when they come in, I can vaguely hear a hello, but I have to wait till that front door closes, so I make sure that when the garage opens, they're not there anymore. Right. It's like, gloom.
So something else that I think is interesting, it's hard, is that I make screening calls and I'm on the phone and I'm getting to know these people for the first time. So naturally, I'm at my best mood and I'm happy. And I love talking to people about cuddling and what I do, and I love hearing people's stories. So I'm very nice and loving, and I'm on the phone. All he can hear is me.
And that used to tear me up.
That would
hurt.
Why
is he making her laugh? I'm a comedian. I don't make her laugh that much. And
so you're feeling a little jealous?
I was feeling a little jealous, envious. I think I was mostly feeling that I wanted that. And I think at one time I even offered, I said, you know what, why don't I just pay you the money and you'd be happy with me? But with time I began to realize, and Janet warned me about this, she said, if you're going to get involved with me, you're going to know all of me and you're not going to like it. And I'm like, been in so many relationships, just But there's sides to all of us, and I know all of Janet now. And just like every one of us out there, we've got a side to us. And I've seen her side more than once. And so I had to weigh it out. It's like, do I really want to offer her money to get just the happy side of her? Or should I be so honored that I know everything about Janet because she's made herself so vulnerable as to share it with me? And I have to protect that. And if I just wanted the happy side, that means that, you know, I'm at a certain level in a relationship with her. This is where and she's going to keep me there because that's all she wants to show me. So I'm very, very fortunate, and I want to honor that.
And it's just really hurtful and disrespectful to say, hey, I'm going to give you $80 so you could treat me right. It treats me like an object. It treats me like, you know, lose my humanity, lose my value. Yeah. When someone is committed to you and loves you with all their heart, they say they only want that, the nice side. So
ultimately, what it boils down to is I've learned that this is what brings my partner joy. It's what brings her pleasure, accomplishment, and we all need that sense of accomplishment, that sense of that this is what I do and I'm good at it. And so most of the time now what I want to feel is I want to see that joy in her face, and when I hear it, when she's telling me, oh, you know, I helped someone out today, and that's kind of all as much as she says, I just have to kind of go with it. But I see that happiness, and I want to be happy in that also. So she's doing exactly what she wants to do. She's doing what she's really good at. And I'm fortunate enough that she also has picked me to be her partner.
So what do you like about my work? What are the benefits that you see in me being a cuddlist?
Little surprise benefits. I guess sometimes there's clients that will gift you things that are needed, and I didn't know that they were needed, but in the conversations you have with certain clients, it comes up that you're doing something and you need this for it, and these clients are very nice and they'll do that, and I appreciate that. I really do. They kind of meet needs for you that I wasn't aware of, or that maybe I just can't meet, and sometimes I have to be bold enough to say I can't meet that one, and it's tough for me and for some guys I know, because we want to be everything to our partner. And this is where the Cuddlist thing comes in really great for me, because other people can be certain things to Janet. You know, and at the same time they're receiving their healing and their touch therapy. Janet is receiving something different, something that I can't bring.
They are creative. The way that some people touch me, it's new and it's helpful to learn. I'm learning about myself, and so I come back to Carlos and say, hey Carlos, like I got this kind of touch today. Can you do that? Because I got that. It was really nice. And like I tell him, like people are bringing really beautiful things to me, and then I can share with him, like, can you do it? Because I really liked it.
I can do most of it, but some of them I can't. Like there's a really soft touch that, I don't know, my sausage fingers or whatever. It's just, they're kind of heavy, but I do my best, you know. But I begin to appreciate what other people bring and what makes you happy. And it makes me happy to see you in your joy.
Would you ever ask me to stop?
Cuddling?
Mm-hmm. Professionally?
No. It makes you very happy. That'd be like you asking me to stop music. No.
Okay.
You know, these things, they make me thirsty because I'm kind of nervous being on here, so I have to drink a lot. Sorry.
Very vulnerable and honest, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some better questions here. So right now there's some clients that are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Love you guys and girls and everybody. And what do you want to tell them?
Wow, having to do with this, having
just
a
like
partner, being a cuddlist.
Yeah, like they get to spend time with me, and they get to have amazing experiences with me, and they get to know me in ways that maybe you haven't quite gotten to know me. It's just different. What do you want them to know? Those are all listening.
We're assuming they're all clients. Is that right?
all 10 of you.
All 10 of you, or you know.
They will come. They'll come later. They don't need to watch.
Well, I want to say that I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the fact that you've come forward. I know that making that first, how do they communicate with you? I don't even know. Email or phone call or whatever. It puts your vulnerability right there on the line. And I appreciate that. I honor you. I also appreciate the fact that you respect what this amazing woman does. And there's a lot of benefits to it, and you get a lot out of it. What else? Therapy. I told myself after the third or fourth session, I'm going to tell people about this, and I want to tell you about this. If you think that you just need to be cleansed a little bit, you know, it doesn't have to be like a looming problem, like I need to go to a therapist. You should probably look into it. Look into a therapist who's come word of mouth that you think you can trust, and just go have a session and see what it's all about, because it's so freeing and liberating as far as your mind goes. You don't even know there's stuff clogged up there, and there probably is. And
it was very honoring to me. The therapist that we go to was able to then honor me and say that my work was amazing and wonderful, and I found someone that understands what I do and sees the value of it, and so then was able to then communicate to him, somebody else, to say, hey, it's help. She's doing amazing things, and you need to see it from the outside perspective instead of through all the emotions.
Yeah.
What would you want other people that are watching to know about cuddling and what I do?
Well, the people that I tell, they ask me, what does she do? And I say, she's a cuddlist. And so I just say it like this. And they say, well, you mean she cuddles people? And I say, yeah, that's pretty much it. But there's a lot more to it. Right away they go to, oh, there's sex they involve. Something sexual is going on. And there's nothing sexual going on. And I know it's hard to believe. Guys, especially in my line of work, we want to be suspicious. And, oh, I thought that is what was going on.
But is that, what's the worst thing? The sex or the emotional connection?
For me, it's the emotional connection.
All right, so that's the thing that you're needing to work through is what if I fall in love? Isn't that one of your questions? Or what if they fall in love?
It's always going to be a question, but I can't control it. I can't control anything that's going to happen. I mean, I trust you. And even the therapist said that's the bottom line. Do you trust your partner? And after saying yes, you got to back it up.
And I'll tell you that when I have his full trust, and when he respects me, and when you're able to really give me the space to be who I am, my love pours so much towards you. It's greater. My commitment is stronger. But whenever there's suspicion and control, that starts breaking our relationship. I think people don't realize that when you give your partner freedom to be who they are and that love, then they will want you more because they realize that you're special, you're unique. For me to be completely free actually secures our relationship, creates that security. If I feel trapped and controlled, that will break us. It's counterintuitive in some ways, but it's...
But you told me that too. You said, if you give me some freedom, I will come back to you and double. And I didn't believe you. And then I started doing it, and it was true.
Let's see. I think there's a last question I wanted to ask.
Does anyone else have questions?
I know. I've had lots of little comments, which have been great. Thank you. How do you take care of you, Carlos? How do you take care of yourself?
Let's see.
And here's the thing, very important. I'm not responsible for his emotions. So when he starts freaking out and goes to the scary place and starts questioning me and interrogating me and all of those things start happening, I just hold space. The therapist told me just love him. Just let him do his thing. Love, end the conversation. So you don't let these conversations go on forever. And then he needs to deal. So I'm not responsible for all the stuff that's going on.
And that doesn't happen a lot anymore at all, but every once in a while.
It does every once in a while. I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, the main point that I had to learn was I wanted you to take care of me because that would mean that I was controlling you.
So how do you take care of yourself emotionally?
Well, I get into things that I love. The music. I love entertaining, art. I do some art. If you've seen some of her other Facebook Lives, you've seen my stuff hanging around here. I do that. And I ask myself, I think I'm quiet now. I learned this from you. Man, stuff that you do rubs off on people. I ask myself, what feels good to you right now, Carlos? And maybe I'll just go and look at albums or shop for music or go have some nachos and read a book, on my own. You need alone time in a relationship, and that's what I'm just learning. So I've stopped being clingy, as clingy. Which wasn't attractive to you at all. You would say, it's just not attractive that you don't go away for a second. Well, I was like, what kind of partner says that? Well, It's healthy.
Healthy.
A healthy partner.
A healthy partner. What do you tell people that, are thinking about becoming a cuddlist, who are in a relationship, maybe they haven't told their partners yet? What do you think?
Again, communication is the key. I've learned from you that when you started talking about becoming a cuddlist, I was like, well, what is there to learn? You're going to cuddle somebody. There's a lot more to it than that. I mean, there's a certification that goes with it. Letting your partner know about what it's all about and what you'll be doing is very important. Keeping them in the loop without giving away the confidentiality of your clients and what you're doing. They don't need to know. They don't. Wow, am I actually saying that?
I think it just solidified.
I know.
I think right there it was like cemented.
Right.
That was strong. I felt it.
Yeah.
The earth shook a little bit. We've been together for 2 years. Most of us.
Yeah. Oh, somebody asked that?
Yeah, I did.
They don't need to know. And that's hard for me to say. But guys, you really don't need to know, because all that is ammunition for this gun that you're loading to be mean to your partner and to be interrogative.
And when should someone break up with someone? Because they're not supportive.
That's a good question. I think everyone has their own level. They're going to know it. But once the happiness leaves...
That's it right there.
Right?
I was beginning to lose my joy.
And I saw
lose
it.
myself.
And it was scary.
And I was depressed and sad. And I knew at that point. And there was a moment where I think we broke up for like 24 hours.
That was hard.
But it needed to stop. He needed to stop. It was too much. And that's when he got real about therapy. Yeah.
Man, Julia.
Yeah, Julia started it all off for us.
But knowing what it was called so I could look it up. And then it was everything that I'd ever wanted to get rid of all my life. Right there in those 3 words. Anxious.
And so if you start sensing, if you're a cuddlist and you're in a relationship and start sensing somebody who, you start sensing that you're losing that part of you, that joy, look at your relationship.
Mm-hmm. If you have the patience, you can see them through to be a better person. But if it gets really bad, I would step away for a while.
We were close to that.
We were several times. And it started out great, and then my little habits started to come in, and now that I've been a therapist, I recognize them now. I started to control you, and then your smile left, and you're like, I don't know what I can do anymore. And there was a lot of gaslighting that went on. But
okay. Well, I think that's the end of our video. Thanks everyone for watching, and if you have any more comments, I'd love to hear them. You can always private message Carlos if you have more specific questions that are for him, or just make it public. And last comment before I say finish.
Everyone is worth a second chance. Therapy.
Go to therapy. All right, we all need it. Bye.
Bye.